Wow, I cannot believe this is happening right now. Uh,
No, come on.
for the fans watching out there, right now this is Shannon Flynn. She's the director of the current ongoing Brat TV series, Brat TV shows. She's the director of one of the directors of Attaway General, Juniors, and Chicken Girls. Thank you so much for joining. And she's also one of the directors of Hannah Montana. If you know what that is.
I know we're getting to the point where people may not know what Hannah Montana is.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming, for joining us. It's an honor, honestly.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. And I'm sorry that it took so long after you extended the invitation.
Yeah, no big deal, no big deal. So, Shannon, what can you tell me? What inspired you to be a film director? I was looking you up on IMDb, and I saw that you directed a bunch of shows. You have been in the industry for longer than I even thought. You directed some episodes in Nicky. You directed some episodes in Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Don. That was one of my favorite shows. You even directed Hotel de Loone for Brat TV. Man, that show,
Yes.
Hotel de Loone is actually one of my favorite shows on Brat TV. So I'm just gonna let you talk now. So, what inspired you to be a film director?
um, I started off as a theater director when I was in college, and I never considered film or television in my future because I love directing theater so much. And I had a theater company with my friends and my husband, and I decided to go to graduate school and get my master's degree in directing. And while I was there, one of the acting alumni from the program suggested perhaps I should look into directing sitcoms. And I thought, well, that's not what a theater director does. And I thought that that was like bailing on my like theater directing, or that somehow it was. Anyway, long story short, after that seed was planted, it was impossible for me to not continue, like to not pursue it. And I grew up here. I grew up in Southern California. The film and television industry was like right up the freeway from where I lived, and it had never occurred to me that that was something that I would pursue. So I was in Connecticut. I moved back to Southern California and decided that that's what I was going to do, because I too watched, sitcoms when I was a teenager and stuff, like and younger than that, and I had such a love of them.
Mhm.
So then I was like, well, here we go. So then that's kind of what changed my mind,
Oh, oh,
was
oh.
getting the yeah.
I'm glad. I'm
So
glad.
that was pretty much it.
Yeah. I'm glad you did pursue that. I'm so glad you did. So
Thank you. Me
so
too, actually.
so what steps would you take to ensure that production is on schedule? What are the steps you would take?
So I always try and make sure that the more the more prepared I am going into a show, the the more I can pivot when things go perhaps not as planned. But as long as I walk in with a plan, usually it will, um, if the plan is working, great. And if the plan isn't working, at least I've come in with something. And then I make sure that, like, I do the best that I can in the time that I've been given. And sometimes that means not getting like a really fun camera move, or not being able to get another take of a performance. When when I was directing Spring Breakaway at Brat, there's a moment at the end of the scene where they're dancing,
Yeah.
and yeah, Jules anyway, that we had to literally get in 5 minutes from that he asks her to dance to them dancing, and like the reaction shots and stuff like that we could get like separately, but like them dancing, we got that in 1 take or 2, I think, because we had no time. So we had to take, and it's like the whole moment that everybody's been waiting for the whole movie, and we had like so little time to get it. But that's sometimes it can be the best thing ever because you don't overthink it. But that's how I try and stay on time. Plus, if you're working with people that are younger than 18, there is a time limit, so you have to be really well prepared going into it.
Yeah. Cool. What in your opinion, what is the most important quality of a film director?
Being able to say, I don't know.
Wow.
Like being able to admit that you don't know everything, and that you can have people around you that that you trust, that are good at their job, so that you don't have to make sure that they're doing their job well. And also being open to everybody's ideas. When I work on, depending on the show that I work on, if I'm working on something for the very first time and it's a show that's been around for a little while, the best thing I can do is take the advice of the people that have been working on that show. Because if I'm stepping on for the first time, what do I know that they've been watching a show get made for however long it's been running? So that's like, I think there's a sense of not assuming that you know everything and being able to say that you don't know everything.
I do that a lot as well. Like when people ask me, do you know this? I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Even when I do know what they're talking about, I'll be like, no, I don't.
Well, and it also invites their ideas, right?
Yeah, it does. So, in all your time of directing, if an actor is being unprofessional, how do you manage the situation?
I try and handle that as privately as I possibly can. I've really been lucky that a lot of the actors, the majority of the actors with whom I've worked, are professional and wonderful to work with. But if somebody is being unprofessional, the best thing that I can do is pull them aside and ask them what's going on, so that if there was something that I can help, because sometimes people, when they act unprofessionally, there's usually some underlying reason for it. So, and if they continue, like if we can solve it, great. If they continue to act unprofessionally, I then have to take it outside of being able to chat with them to producers or something like that. But if it's like an in the moment thing, and if it's not working to talk with them privately, sometimes what works is calling them out publicly. And a little moment of like acknowledgement that what they're doing is unprofessional.
Yeah. I've heard so much about you.
And also, the other thing too is like, I was just going to say, the last thing I was going to say about unprofessional actors, for those who are watching, if you act unprofessionally as a director, there is very little chance that we will work together again if I have the opportunity to cast somebody. So that's what I'll say about that.
Cool. What I was about to say is that I've heard so much about you from the cast members, mostly almost all the cast members of Brad TV that I've spoken with. I've heard a lot of good stuff about you, how you treat them. When you are directing, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's a
Well,
great.
I'm so humbled to hear that.
Oh, awesome, awesome. What do you think makes a great film?
I think the most important thing is being able to tell the story that you want to tell. What I find in a good film is when I enjoy the story. Because if I'm not on board with whatever the story is about, then the rest of the film doesn't matter. You can make the most beautiful film ever, but if it doesn't have a narrative, then what's the point? What are you making? And by narrative, I mean not just in the words that people say, but in the visual component of a film, the sound component of a film. What are you trying to say about, what are you trying to say with your movie? Even if it's just a love story, even if it's like a family story, whatever it is, like the story for me has to be really clear. And then that's what I think makes a wonderful film.
Yeah, cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, mm, what is this? This is going to be a tricky question. I know you have directed a lot of Brat TV shows, but what do you have a favorite out of all the Brat TV shows that you have
hmm
directed? What is your favorite? Which is your favorite?
If I pick a favorite, you know that those people are going to come after me and the people that I've worked with. So
Choose,
I will
choose.
respectfully say that I will, this is a very, very honest answer. There isn't a show on Brat that I've worked on that I have not absolutely fallen in love with. Hotel de Loone was my first project with them, and we had so much fun making that show. It
Wow.
was bonkers, like what we, but gathering those actors and that with Haley and Toby, like being surrounded by all of those adults, like that was amazing. And then, like uh Boss Cheer was like every single show I've worked on, it just makes me enjoy that even more, because they all are so unique in their own way and its own film, in terms of the way we've made it, that I really, for me personally, can't pick one because it all they all have presented themselves in such unique ways that, like, to pick one would mean that I'm saying, oh, but that one, you know what I mean? Like, because they're all so different. I can't pick one. I can't pick one.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Sorry.
No, no, no. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I never thought of it this way. But you are right. Picking a favorite would create a lot of stuff, a lot of trouble. So it's fine. It's fine. Um, my my
But
next question.
also, I was just, oh no, I'm
Go,
just going to say this really quick.
yeah, go ahead.
If you pick, if you, the thing is like, what I love about Brat TV is that all of the stories that we talked, just like I said, making a great movie, like all of the stories that Brat tells have their own heart, right? So, and their own unique approach. So,
Mhm.
like, there, that's why, being not being able to pick one. I mean, I know people have fan favorites and stuff like that, but it's like, for me, it's because the storytelling is different in every single one, like that is why. It's not that it would cause trouble, it's just like I look at Juniors and I'm like, oh my God, Juniors was so great. Like,
Yeah.
look at the actors on that, look at the story that was told on that. And then it's like, yeah, but look at Attaway General, like this season, there were so many incredibly like suspenseful moments in
Yeah.
Attaway General, or And then chicken girls, like introducing a whole new group of
A whole
chicken
new group,
girls,
yeah.
like, and a whole new group of people. And then like all of them being woven in together with one another was so compelling. Like being able to like find those moments that the actors get to come together from all three shows in different ways. So like, you know, that's why I'm saying it's just
Yeah.
they as a whole, Brett's storytelling is really unique and wonderful. And I'll say this season, working on those fall shows, um, was so much more. It was so much darker than the other shows that I've worked on, right? I noticed that you said like the fans were heard. Like those those were so different from what I've worked on before. So
Mm.
that was just fantastic.
Cool, cool. You know, you filmed the Chicken Girls season 10, Junior season 1, and Attaway General season 4, almost all at the same time, because of the three shows have a connection, have crossovers in them. So, was there any scene in the film that was particularly challenging to shoot? Uh, was there anything? If so, why was it challenging? And how did you overcome the challenges? No,
Yes.
no spoilers though. The shows haven't ended yet, so no spoilers.
No, I know. Yes, the there's a party scene that intersects all three. Well, there are two. One is Homecoming, which I know some of those episodes are already. But for me personally, the ones that I shot was the party scene at Juniors, the after hours party scene at Juniors, because there were a lot of because every single show was represented in that party scene. And I know that someday somebody is going to take all three of those shows and make a hypercut of the party scene that shows all three of those shows. And so I kept that in mind while I was doing that particular scene. So all three shows are in that party scene at Juniors, and I had to be mindful of like where people were in that party scene so that it made sense. And that was probably the hardest one I had to shoot.
Awesome.
Also, part of the party scene is in Attaway General 4 is when we had the scene in Junior's office where the character I don't think I'm giving anything away yet, right? Because we've already aired that episode. Where they get, oh yeah, we have aired that episode where she gets assaulted by
Yeah, yeah,
Xander
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
office, and that one was really, that one was hard
Oh, that scene was so
because we wanted to
intense.
make sure that we were really um, respectful of the actors to make sure that
Yeah.
that scene got done well, but that it still held what was necessary for that. So,
The next question that I have for you is, what do you think about, how, after filming this whole three shows all at once, what do you think about how the final product turned out to be?
um, I think I think that it our mission was to shoot the show so that it looked like a Brat show, right? So that it didn't go too far away from what you would see on a Brat show. And so I think personally, when I watch those episodes, I think, oh yeah, that looks like a Brat TV show to me. So I think it turned out really, really well, and I'm so happy with the performances that we got and the stories that we told and the way it looks. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So, lastly, what advice, would you give to young actors out there, or startup actors out there, what advice would you give to them?
I would say the best advice that was ever given to me was if there is anything else that you want to do besides be an actor or a filmmaker, you should do that. um, but if you do want to pursue being an actor or filmmaker, just don't give up. That's as simple as it sounds. Don't give up. And there are plenty of times that I wanted to. There are times when I thought that I was never going to work again, and then something always happens. So if it's something that you really, really want to do, keep at it. And if it's right, it's for right. It will always come to pass if that's what it's meant to be. But specifically for actors, just keep studying, keep reading, read a lot, take classes if you can. But that just know that whatever you bring to a role as an actor is what I'm looking for as a director. Like, I just want to know that you worked at trying to find the character that you're bringing to me.
Oh, awesome, awesome. What was it like for you working with director Laura James?
Laura and I have known each other for a really, really long time. And so we approach things very similarly. So working with her, the most important thing that I could do is make sure that we were working together so that you couldn't tell who was directing what. So working with her, that was working with somebody that I've known for a really long time, made sure that we were on the same wavelength with each other to approach things the same way.
Yeah, awesome. So, any words? Do you have any words? For the fans, of Brat TV. Do you have any words for them?
Yeah, keep watching. You know what I mean? Like, make sure that we can keep telling these stories, and that whatever. Just know that almost every person I've worked with, the actors at Brat are just amazing. They're wonderful and sweet, and they really just love making these shows for you guys. So for the Brat fans, just keep watching, keep telling us what you love about the shows, and they really do read those comments, as you know. Like, they really love to know that you are engaged and writing the things that you love, also the things that you may not love, but they do see that.
Cool. So, thank you so much, Shannon, for
you're most welcome.
For doing this. It's a huge honor from me. Thank you so much for joining. This is amazing. This is awesome. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. I really, really am proud of the work that we did. So I'm glad that we had a chance to talk about it, because I really do enjoy it.
Yeah, actually, not to pick favorites, but the fans have already the fans did pick their favorites last year. I think between those three shows you directed, Juniors is actually number one. Fans love Juniors and stuff. So
I saw that on your list. I saw that on your list of favorites.
It's amazing. I was never sure that it would get to number 2 on Brat TV's top shows of 2022, but it did. It made it to number 2. So thank you so much for directing. Actually, No, you don't have to pick favorite words. I have to. Junior is actually one of my favorite shows. So thank you so much for directing one of my favorite shows. It's an honor.
You
Thank
are
you so much.
welcome.
So
You're
now I have.
welcome. It's so great too. Oh, I was going to say, it's so great that Junior finally gets his own show. Like, he's the one consistent thing through all of the Brat
Yeah,
universe, right? Is
yeah,
Junior. And for Junior to finally like get something that's his, it was so great. And Paul was so happy. The actor who plays Junior was so
yeah,
happy that finally we put something there. Anyway,
yeah. It was amazing. So Shannon, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you go right now because
you're
once
so
I
welcome.
there are tons of questions that I want to ask, but I'm just gonna keep it maybe some other time.
Ask anything. I have Okay, some other time, but don't
Some
be
other
afraid
time.
to ask anything for reals, because I will
Oh,
answer any questions that you have.
oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But that will be some other time because right now, I work with time and we're almost out of time. So,
Yes, you got it.
so thank you so much. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.